Knowing how to navigate successfully in the backcountry can keep you from getting lost or bewildered. Hi, I'm Rod Johnson, owner and founder of Midwest Mountaineering, and I'd like to share with you some of the tips I've learned over the years on successfully navigating in the backcountry. The first thing I do is I mark my starting position and time on the map. Then I'll also mark the time when I reach a landmark, like a different lake, a river, camp. And then I will mark the time there and measure the distance between and divide by the time, and I'll get my speed. By knowing the speed, I can figure out where I am on the map. When you're using your compass, if the difference between true north and magnetic north is greater than 5 degrees, be sure to take that into account. You can find the difference between true north and magnetic north in one of the corners of your map on a compass rose. Now, by calculating the time, the estimated time of arriving in camp or a pass that you're crossing over will save you a lot of energy, because you won't always be looking around the next corner. Or if you're going over a pass, you won't be encountering false summit after false summit. These take a lot of energy. Now, to calculate your estimated time of arrival, you measure the distance, say, to the campsite for the evening. Say you've measured 7.5 miles, and say that you've calculated your speed at 1.5 miles an hour. You divide the distance, 7.5 miles, by your speed, 1.5 miles an hour, and you get 5 hours. That means if you left at 10 a.m., you would arrive in camp at 3 p.m. So at 1:30 p.m., you're not going to start looking for camp, because you know it's a whole hour and a half off. This will save you a lot of energy. An altimeter watch will also help avoid false summits. Say that the pass that you're crossing over is 12,000 feet and your altimeter watch says 10,500 feet. You're going to pace yourself for another 1,500 feet. A GPS can be a very handy navigational tool. The GPS has an arrow on it that you can set at your starting position, and if you become lost, the arrow will point back to your starting position, so you can always find your way back to your starting point, your car, whatever. Now, it's also really great to put the finishing point in your GPS. If you can drive by the finishing point, you can mark it right in your GPS, or you can get the coordinates and marking them down. A GPS can also be very handy if you put down waypoints, lakes, streams, rivers, passes, your campsites, and you can manually enter them in the GPS, or it's much better to load them in electronically. To load them in electronically, you can use some internet software, or from National Geographic, I bought this software of California when I was doing the John Muir Trail. So what I did was, on my computer screen, I traced the entire John Muir Trail, and I put in waypoints, lakes, streams, rivers, campsites, and printed them on waterproof paper. Then I downloaded them in electronically to the GPS. I have tried sometimes manually entering waypoints, and there's so many hundreds of digits, if you make one mistake, it's garbage in, garbage out. You're not going to find out where you are. It's also really nice to let someone know ahead of time where you're going and when you'll be back. Allow a lot of extra time, because it almost always takes longer than you think. By knowing how to navigate successfully in the backcountry, you can avoid getting lost and bewildered, and you can have a great time there.